Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Okay, welcome in. Brand new season, brand new league. Tobacco Road Sim Racing is going to pick up where WRL left off last season. This is Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome in. This is Racer Nexus. This is the Clash, the preseason race, I guess, for Tobacco Road Sim Racing, as we've got 10 weeks coming up on tap over the next 12 weeks. A little bit of a break in between a couple weeks coming up, but for the most part, the next 10 weeks, you're going to see a bunch of Next Gen car racing here to kick things off. We're at Texas Motor Speedway. It's one of the crown jewels of American motorsports in Fort Worth, Texas. In the booth with me as well this evening is Brian Zinn. You can find him at Professor Zinn on Twitch, and then you got my handle there too as well, Double Apex Gaming. We're going to take you through the race here this evening, so expect a ton of action here tonight, Zinn. Qualifying getting underway. We've got some familiar names that we saw in WRL last season. Jack Humbert, who had potential to take the championship win, came up just a little bit short to Dalton Moore, but he's back again this season. Let's see what he can offer as the competition has stepped up a little bit. We've got some higher I-rating drivers in this season.
Yep, new season, new league, but same old rivalries. So I'm sure folks will be looking to pick up where they left off, and in Jack Humbert's case, move one further step up the podium at the end of the season.
Yeah, Jack's also stepped up from his Ford Motorcraft paint. We usually saw him driving all last season. He's into the Toyota. I'm not sure if that's going to find him that extra tenth or two of pace he needs to bring home the championships in, but moving off from the Ford into the Toyota, we'll see how that works for him. But Chris Topping's here on track. He's actually the originator of the league. He started up from nothing out of WRL last season. Recruited a bunch of guys from WL, a bunch of new guys. He's also the main man behind covering the broadcast here. So he's on track. I believe he's going to do a few laps into the race, then probably going to step out to do a little race control. As from what I understand, he wants to try his hand in that. So I'm not sure if he's going to do that all season, but we'll have some live race control in this race too as well.
Yeah, tonight is the clash for these folks. Get a chance to feel out their new competitors and work out the kinks that inevitably come from starting up a new season.
Yeah, there's qualifying has just finished up. Take a look at the grid here in a matter of moments once it resets. There we go. Jordan Fisher going to take top spot. He'll have Travis Everett to his outside. Evan Stewart and Blair Saunders going to make up row 2 in 3rd and 4th place. Jack Humbert in 5th with Chris Toppings to his outside in 6th. Dalton Moore, last season's WRL champion, is going to start in 7th with Kyle Ethier in 8th. Joseph Smith in 9th. Ronald Brelin in 10th. Michael Peden in 11th. Scott Matthews going to start in 12th. And in 13th is Cody Adams. Xavier Regelberg in 14th. Brad Harris in 15th. Jonathan Pereira in 16th. And rounding out the field is going to be Scotty Lanning. 17 cars on grid here this evening. That's a nice little showing here for a preseason race, Sid.
Yeah, definitely, especially as you said with the preseason, no points up for grabs, but still a nice turnout altogether. Like you said, Texas is kind of a staple on the schedule, but I know it's not a lot of people's favorite track with how it races, but pretty good turnout nonetheless.
Let's take a look at the conditions. 26-degree air temp going to translate to 26 degrees Celsius. I should change that over to Fahrenheit for our American viewers. This is a brand new theme SDK just came out with the other day, so I'll have to update some of those settings, but fairly cool conditions tonight as we had practice in the sunset, but now the sun's gone down. Looks like we're going to be racing in the evening, and I suspect tires won't be all that much of an issue, although I believe they have 4 sets of tires here, 100-lap race here at Texas, so should be an interesting one. Hopefully it's not caution filled, and see some nice racing door-to-door action all around this track.
Yeah, 26 Celsius, that's 78 degrees in freedom units. But yeah, it'll be real nice to see some good green flag long runs here. We'll see how the strategies work out of the high line and the low line. Texas with 2 different sets of banking, different banking degrees in 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. So it'll drive a little bit different at each end of the racetrack, and to see how these guys navigate the track will be nice to watch.
Yeah, I always find that interesting when we go to a track that has different levels of degrees of banking on each end, how it kind of plays into the factor. I guess 4 degrees isn't massive, but interesting to see which drivers are a little more capable in the corners where it's a little more banked. You can take a little more speed, a little more throttle through there versus the guys that have to kind of use a little bit of feel on the other end of the tracks.
Yeah, I agree. You would think on the surface that 4 degrees doesn't make a lot, but from driving this track quite a bit, it definitely does. And high line and low line also makes a difference when it comes into tire wear. Maybe not so much on the next gen car, but definitely on an Xfinity or a truck, it will.
So we got our field rounding out of turn 3, heading into turn 4. We'll be getting ready to go. As far as I guess degradation of tires, is Texas a heavier track as far as tire wear is in? Off top of your
I
head?
would think so. Yeah, it can be a pretty abrasive surface. It's an older surface on the series, so.
We're off and running. Look like a little bit of bumping and banging in the background, but everybody gets going and on track. But Jordan Fisher going to hold on to his top spot over Travis Everett. He's going to get a run. Even Evan Stewart and Blair Saunders going to round up top 4. So top 4 staying in place. Kyle Ether, though, big boost by him early on, up 3 spots. Just lost 1 spot there, though, to Ronald Braylon, moving up around the outside. So strong run for Braylon. Is our head Toyota right now up 5 spots early on.
Yeah, and as we were kind of talking about, everybody sort of fanned out coming through 1 and 2 there, and 3 and 4 as well. So drivers finding a line that works for them. It's going to be comfortable. I expect the cars to be tight at the beginning, and then as the run carries on, they'll start to loosen up a little bit, and you'll see drivers moving around on the track.
If I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't raced Texas in a little bit, but it's fairly advantageous to run 2 lines here. I don't think the top or the bottom is really that much quicker than, or sorry, top and the middle, I should say, is much quicker than one or the other around here's in, if I remember correctly. So it's not like a track where everybody's going to be trying to hog the bottom or riding the wall to really maximize their pace around here. You can do a little bit of lane changing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and you're going to have to navigate both lanes to really make moves. So if we get a lot of green flag running and see guys make green flag pit stops, you'll see the difference between old and new tires, especially. And, guys that are maybe more comfortable on the high line are going to have to go and run the low line to get passes done.
So I mentioned Braylon early on, up 5 spots. He's picked up another 2 spots. Man on a mission here early on in the race. Is he now battling Everett? Almost had that spot away from, sorry, that was Saunders. Saunders going to take that spot back, so it's going to drop Braylon down to only +6. I say only, but +6 on the first 4 laps of this one, so he's got some pace out there. Our sub 1,000 I-rating driver battling it out with a 2.5K and a 3,000 I-rating driver. So just going to show you, when it comes to league action, you get some of these drivers that mainly just participate in leagues. They really don't get into the officials all that much. They prefer to do their racing in league racing, so you can't necessarily take I-rating to its full extent of a driver's prowess on track.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you and I have been in plenty of leagues where the I rating does not correlate with what we see, as we see our star of the race become the not so star of the race there.
How did they save that?
Amazing save. Well done to everybody involved in that. Might be some fender crumples, but we stay green.
I don't know how all 3 of those cars managed to go into the grass, hop, skip, jump, as if they were skipping rocks at the lake, get back on track, and not a single one of them lose a position or wreck. Let's see if we can take another look at what happened there. That was something else.
I tell you what, when the real NASCAR comes here to Texas, that is not happening in real life.
Well done by those drivers. That was Kyle Ethier and Ronald Brelin, door to door through the grass. So well done by them. That's going to drop Ronald Brelin down to 9th. So we'll see if he's able to work
now we
his
have
way
our
back
caution
up.
from the 24 of Michael Peden spinning around back there.
Yeah, Peden in the Pepsi Exalta machine. Take a look here at what happened to him to set off the first caution lap, or caution flag of the race. It looks like just solo lost the back end, got a little loose, tried to correct it, couldn't save it. Into the wall.
Typical Texas turn 2 step out there on the 24 car, and unfortunately he found the barrier.
Thankfully, it looked like everybody else was able to get by him.
Yeah, I don't know if these guys have fast repairs or not, but I would expect to see him come down pit road and start getting that car worked on when the pits open up here.
It's interesting. I'll have to check, because I can't remember off the top of my head whether Christopher has implemented fast repairs in this league or not. I know WRL, which we covered last season, which is kind of spawned this league, there was no fast repairs at all. So it'd be interesting to see, but it looks like our leaders potentially faking a move into the pits, but they got four sets of tires. I don't think it's really going to they're going to have to save a whole lot here. Should really easily get those 4 sets through the race here. But it looks like Jordan Fisher has faked out Travis Everett. He's going to go in first one into the pits to get some rubber. Looks like Kyle Ethier, Ronald Brelin going to come in too as well.
Yeah, I would not expect much of any tire wear after 8 laps on the next gen car around here, even with as abrasive as Texas could be. As we talked about, you know, the next gen's kind of a unique car in the NASCAR world. It can be very kind to its tires on some tracks, and on others it can be a cheese grater. So whereas the Xfinity and the old Gen 6, you really drove it off that right rear, and that was always the corner that wore the most through long runs. But yeah, it looks like our visitors to pit lane was just top up on the gas. No tire changes that I saw there, so saving those sets for later in the race.
Yeah, I guess it's there's the old adage, Zin. It's kind of like money. My grandfather used to always say, you can't take it with you to the graves. Tire sets are kind of like that to race car drivers. So if you still got some by the end of the race, use them up. But I guess they're going to try and conserve them the best they can right now. So we'll take a look at our first race recap under this caution. We went to lap 9 before we had a caution. Jordan Fisher's been leading this one from the pole. And of course, it's been 1 caution for 2 laps so far.
Race recap's new. I like that. It's a good addition.
Yeah, it's a nice little, we also have a race analysis we can show it to as well. It's not going to give us a whole lot, just going to let us know how many laps we're going, and then quickly we get the weather there. So there we go.
Yeah,
in freedom
Fahrenheit
units
there
for you. We have 77-degree freedom units up. No wind, absolutely 0 wind out there. Partly cloudy and humidity relatively nice. So drivers shouldn't be sweating too much behind the wheel here this evening.
No, must be a Texas fall night. Not too breezy, but slight chill in the air.
So it looks like the lights are off on the pace car. So we're going to be going green this time by the field heading into turn 2. So it looks like everybody's still on the lead lap so far. I believe Cody Adams was our only car lap down, so he was able to get the lucky dog.
Yeah, it looks like the Chesapeake teammates there of Xavier Regelbrug and Joseph Smith are playing a little tug of war between themselves there as we make our way down the backstretch. Pace car lights are off.
Yeah, they're going to be starting nose to tail there, Smith and Regelbrug. So we'll see what kind of team orders play out here, Zin, if they kind of try and work together, see if they can get around Jordan Fisher, who's been holding on to a top spot since the drop of the green.
Wonder how many times Jordan gets asked if he's the singer or not.
I don't know. Maybe he is, just in disguise.
Maybe.
The field heading out
over.
field heading out of turn 4. Barney the flagman are ready with his green flag. Set the way. We'll see if Jordan Fisher can hold his lead into turn 2. Looks like he got a nice jump. He's going to hold on to that top spot. Now the battle is between Smith and Saunders. Smith going to get ahead of Saunders to hold on to that position. Fortunately, teammate Regelbrug wasn't able to go with him.
As we see people fan 2-3 wide going through 1 and 2. Oh, hard smack on the wall for the was that Pereira that hit the wall there?
Yeah, that was Jonathan Pereira tagged the wall, the 38 machine.
Yeah, it just got high off of 2, and the wall was there to greet him with open arms.
Well, he's going to take a trip through the grass too as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a broken toe link there, got some wheel damage he picked up from that or what, but we'll see if he gets going again.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that car was handling all that well, so we'll see if he gets to gather back up. But Jordan Fisher back out front again, trying to open up a gap between he and Joseph Smith, and behind. Got himself about 3/10 right now. Smith has Saunders and Regelbrug in tow. So we'll see if the 3 cars can kind of work. I know the draft fairly strong here at Texas, if I remember correctly, Zin.
Yeah, if you can get a good run out of 2 on a guy in front of you, you can use that draft to close up and look to make a move. Oh boy, we'd see the 61 get loose off of 2 there. Big hit into the outside wall.
Yeah, it's going to kick off our second caution. Blair Saunders involved in that. I believe Regelbrug too as well. That car is hurting. He's going to have some considerable damage on that one. Looks like Evan Stewart might have been involved too as well. The opposite side of the car for him, but heavy damage on those cars. Let's see if we can queue up a replay here.
It looks like Dalton Morris spun too, but I don't know if it was part of that or just spun avoiding the calamity in front of him.
There's on board here with Saunders. See, he just got loose. Oh, unfortunately, just kind of knifed up into Regelbrug. Not much he could do at that point in time. But
yeah, it looks like when
it
looks like he got clipped going by.
Oh, yeah, just got caught by Regelbrug as he came down. Light hit on the wall.
Oh, so lucky to not get collected by anybody going by there. So well held on the brakes by Dalton. Nice job. That's what you're supposed to do. And all things considered, he might have gotten away with that one. I don't know how crumpled the right front is, but got very lucky to not get
just the lightest touch there.
That's all it takes sometimes. But yeah, and iRacing can be funny sometimes with spinning into the wall like that if it wants to punish you or give you a break.
I'm not sure who that was that hammered the wall trying to avoid Dalton Morris. He was on the bottom there, just kind of got loose up into the wall, but it looked like it might have been actually the hardest hit out of all of them that we saw there.
Yeah, looked like he wanted a sympathy hit with with the 55 getting collected. But yeah, just another classic Texas accident, with turn 2 being tricky if you're on the wrong line or you just gas it up too early. The back end will step out on you and you kind of go chasing it up the track, or it'll snap sideways on you. And unfortunately, Xavier was wrong place, wrong time on that one. I've felt that pain many times over in my career doing oval racing, so I know exactly how he feels. But yeah, Texas, we've said it a couple times. It's a tricky track. The exit of turn 2 and the exit of turn 4 are kind of the trouble spots. With turn 2, you get loose, and turn 4, you get tight and drift up into the wall heading into the tri-oval. So it's a challenge, and I think that's why the drivers that like Texas will defend it, and those that hate it will point to those two spots as the reasons why.
I couldn't said it any better myself. So we got a little moment here, Zin. Why don't we take a look at the schedule we got coming up for the season? Why don't you take us through the first few weeks?
Yeah, so after the Clash wraps up here tonight, next week, open the season for real with Daytona, 60 laps there, followed up with Kansas for 120 laps in week 2. Week 3 sees the series move to Dover for 125 laps, followed up by Chicagoland on October 8th with 75 laps. Week 5, they head to the first road course on the schedule, Watkins Glen, with the new rescan that Racing just released. Then they go short track racing at Bristol for 160 laps, and then head out west to Las Vegas for 125 laps. Then second super speedway of the season comes in week 8 at Talladega, followed by Iowa, and the season wraps up at Charlotte with 125 laps to figure out who's going to be the champion.
Yeah, I think it's a nice combination of short tracks, super speedways, road course with Watkins Glen. I'm interested to see how they deal with that new curbing that iRacing put in. We ran, the two of us ran a GT4 race there last night. The GT4 cars hop over it fairly easy, but these next gen cars, which don't really seem to like to do anything other than go straight, would be real interesting to see how they feel heading over it.
Well, the great thing about Watkins Glen that they did with the cup layout, which I'm assuming is what they're going to run, is there's no track limits anywhere, and it has different curbing in the bus stop. So it's very. I drove it in the ARCA car during week 13. It was fantastic to drive. So I expect these guys will have a lot of fun.
I didn't know they were putting in different curbs for the NASCAR stuff. That kind of takes the fun out of it, Zin.
Yeah. Well, they did as we head back to green, we got. Well, you can change the name on the league, but the same shenanigans follows them.
Fortunately, Regelbrug, our driver who got wrapped up in that wreck earlier on, he's getting caught up again on this one.
Yeah, it looks like some guys might have had it in first gear on accident and just lit up the rear tires coming to the green there. But I think 4 cars total involved in that.
Looking, Scotty landing. Not sure if he got around there or avoided. Let's take another look here. So
It looks like he kind of spun on his own.
And we're on board here with Evan Stewart. And it looks like Landing went to the inside. Everybody kind of checked up. So it looked like Landing spun the back tires up. Everybody kind of tried to check up. And then, unfortunately, when everybody's trying to go at that point in time, it's hard to go no at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't tell if Scotty just spun up the rear tires or maybe was trying to immediately pull off to the left to let folks by to drop to the back for some reason. But definitely an odd circumstance. It looks like it caught some other drivers out behind him, so just kind of scampering to avoid what was going on in front of him.
Yeah, see if I can go back a little farther to get what happened to Scotty Landing. So here we go. Oh, looks like he dropped the left rear onto the grass, and that's what caused him to get loose there. And everybody else trying to avoid it.
The Velcro grass strikes again.
So, what started off promising has turned into a little bit of a caution breeds caution here. Lap 19 of 100. Jordan Fisher still, he's been leading the way all throughout this one. And we've had 3 cautions for 8 laps now. So hopefully we get a nice run of green flag racing here.
Well, I tell you what, if Scotty had a Kubota or John Deere sponsorship, he might not have spun there in the grass. Clearly didn't have the right equipment to go mowing the lawn there.
And need some turf tires on that thing.
Yeah, get the gator out here.
So the light's still on the pace car, so we're going to have to endure another yellow flag lap here before we get back underway. But looks like we only got 2 drivers. Or no, they're still in there. I thought Blair Saunders and Cody Adams had called it quits, but they're still out there. They are both lap down. Oh, sorry, Cody Adams looks like he's officially retired. So Blair Saunders now our first car on lap down. So we'll see if he's able to get himself back up there if potentially we have another early caution.
Yeah, we'll see if these guys can keep it all together on the next restart and get some green flag running going. But yeah, 100 laps. We're just past lap 20. Doing pretty good as far as only having about a third of those be caution laps. So like to see these guys get some more green flag running though, and start seeing those different lines working out.
On board here with last season's champ, Dalton Moore, down 2 spots from where he started. Been a little bit of an up and down race for him. Saw him get involved in the, not the most recent caution, but the caution before. Just got clipped a little bit, spun around. Fortunately for him, as you mentioned, and everybody was able to avoid him. So I don't know who was looking down on him at that point in time, but all the cars able to go around him. So he was able to keep going. But the guy he was battling all last season, Jack Humbert, nice showing by him. He's got himself up into 3rd place right now. We'll see what he has to offer for Joseph Smith and Jordan Fisher, who've been kind of mainstays up towards the front of this one.
Yeah, Joseph Smith is kind of taking over the big mover of the race so far. He's up 7 spots and holding down 2nd place, been able to avoid the mayhem behind him. So he's probably just looking in the rearview mirror going, what the heck are you guys doing?
Field heading out of turn 4 here. We're going to try this one more time this time. So we're going single file start this time. Hopefully that allows us to get into turn 1 here before we have any other incidents. Looks like everything fairly clean. Everybody single file, and we are green again. Jordan Fisher gets up to a nice jump ahead of Joseph Smith. He's going to hold that spot. Jack Humbert in behind. Kyle Ethier, though, he's going to try and make a move onto the underside of Humbert. He's got Brelin and Everett right behind. Brelin we saw up front earlier on. Had a little bit of an incident. Taking the trips in the grass, drop back, but he's trying to push his way back forward again.
Yeah, seeing guys drift up to that midline there, try and keep the car from spinning out, coming out of these corners here, and Braylon looking all over the back bumper of Humbert in front of him. So we got the 2 Toyotas running nose to tail. We'll see if they can link up and start putting the moves on the other manufacturers.
Travis Everett coming out of nowhere here, just picked up, I think, about 3 spots on that lap. Moving himself around. Ronald Brelin just heard him on radio there. New tires. He was into the pits last time by. So you're seeing how new tires affect the drivers here at Texas. We said earlier on that it wasn't an overly abrasive track, but seems to be, if you've been out there with about 20 laps on your tires, some fresh ones are exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, definitely. The way he just drove by Jack Humbert there definitely makes the argument that fresh tires is welcome at this stage.
You see Chris Toppings making a move around Ronald Braylon. So it's kind of interesting when we talk about Braylon. I know I've mentioned him a bunch of times here so far in the race. He's been up and down in this one, but he seems to move forward and then kind of stall out for a lap or two's in, fall back a couple spots, and then try and push forward again. So not sure if that's maybe a strategy here at Texas, or if it's just maybe he's overheating the tires, backs off to cool them off a little bit.
Yeah, it could be, or it could very much be, and I don't mean to disparage the guy whatsoever, but, with the lower I rating, he just may not have the experience of being able to pace himself as well as some of the other guys around him. So, he may not want to back off, but the car may be telling him, hey, you pushed a little too hard there. We need to back off and save something for later in the race.
That's my specialty in oval racings. Go fast for about 2 or 3 laps and then spend about 15 laps crying that you used your tires.
Hey, that was me in the Mustang GT4 last night.
It's probably why I've never really gotten out of the 2000 I rating on oval side. Just don't know how to pace myself. But a guy who has been pacing himself, Jordan Fisher, took pole. He's led it from the wire so far. He hasn't really been able to pull away from Joseph Smith now. That gap holding steady about 7/10, but they've got 2.1 seconds over Kyle Ethier, who's got Travis Everett, our driver, with some fresh rubber under him, trying to move his way up through the field.
Dalton Moore just got loose coming off of 4 through the tri-oval and spun into the infield. So we stayed green, so he must have kept that out of the pits and out of the wall. But he's slow moving through turn 1 now.
Yeah, we'll see if we can try and find what happened to him here.
I don't see a black flag, so I think he avoided the entering pit lane penalty.
Oh, just broke loose. Heading across the line. Yeah, it looks like he was already past the pit entry, but oh, a little kiss off the wall there. Fortunate
Everybody
for him.
avoided him. Well done for those guys.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for a quick yellow here to get that car in, get a little bit of repairs, but that's going to drop all the way back down to 15th place. So not the preseason race Dalton Moore was probably hoping for, but that's what preseason races are for.
Yeah. Exactly. Get all those kinks and bad juju out of the way.
Exactly. We got a 3-car battle here for 7th place. Christopher Topping's just ahead of Evan Stewart, who we're on board here with now. Brelin in behind. So nice run by Stewart trying to recover. He was wrapped up in one of those incidents earlier on, dropped down 5 spots where he qualified, but catching up quick on the back of Chris Toppings. Just having a look here. Looks like Stewart was in last time for some fresh tires. We're going to see exactly how they allow him to move around Chris Toppings. So Toppings just went high, realized he didn't have the pace to hold Stewart back. Just going to let him go and try and tuck it into his draft.
Yeah, and we were just talking about Braylon. It looked like he might have been overdriving the car and backed off. And here he is making a charge right back up to join this battle for 7th as we see Evan Stewart retake that position from Chris. And those guys are going to keep battling, which is going to allow Ronald to close up even more.
Yeah, Braylon's a bit of a curious case of be interesting to find out if it was all strategy or not, him dropping back and pushing forward, but we'll keep an eye on him as it goes. But up front, Kyle Ethier starting to feel a little more pressure from Travis Everett as those tires probably climatizing a little more now for Everett, where he's probably losing a little bit of his advantage he had early on. You have to try and work a little harder now to get around those cars up ahead of him on older tires. Ethier up 5 spots where he qualified, got himself a final step on the podium. So nice run by him. If he could hold on to that, no doubt he'd be happy with that finish.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle may have pit a lap prior to Travis, so maybe that 1 lap pace is what we're seeing as we see Kyle get loose off of 2 there.
Yeah, he backed out of it, let Everett go, but so he's still not quite back up to pace there. He's starting to pick it up, but Jack Humbert catching him up quick. Humbert started the restart in 4th place, falling back 1 spot, but might be able to pull in Kyle Ethier up ahead. Now, Humbert's a driver that we saw last season's in. He was able to save his tires all through the race, very easy on his tires. He was always had spare sets toward the end of the race, so he didn't really need to pop in and use them. So it'll be interesting to see with these higher I-rating drivers this season if he's able to utilize that same strategy. Right now, working out well for him. He's got himself into 5th place.
Yeah, he's got himself a little bubble right there. Nobody really in front of him, nobody behind him. So that's the kind of situations you want for tire management. No pressure, can just drive your own pace lap after lap, and eventually he'll start making inroads on the cars in front. But there's a massive 4-car battle, 5-car battle for 10th place. Guys going 2-3 wide back there at times. As coming to hit a curse right there. Oh, no.
Landing into the wall. That took out Scott Matthews too as well. We've got another caution. Jonathan Pereira going to get it stopped. It just touches the side of Matthews. But yeah, commentator cursed him there, Zin. You had to mention that battle.
I did.
Inevitably, though, 5 cars on track that close, something was going to happen. But see if we can take another look here at what happened there in a minute as we see Scott Matthews get himself turned back around.
Yeah, it looked like something happened with Scotty's car and got loose. I don't know if he overcorrected it or if it just snapped up into the wall and then just kind of came back down, ricochet, and collected a lot of cars.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Lanning here. He's the car that we think might have kicked it all off here by getting up into the wall. So coming off, that's turn 4. Into turn 1. Looks okay right now.
Yeah, drives it in deep in turn 1 and turn 2. You get too far down on that low line, the back end will want to step out on you.
Oh, there it is. Oh, everybody almost made it by. Looks like Scott Matthews just clipped him on the way by. Blair Saunders too as well. They almost made it through. Looks like
Yeah, and
Saunders
you
able to
feel
keep
bad
going
for
though.
yeah, and you feel bad for Scotty because you know he wasn't trying to come down and inflict maximum damage. It's just when you break the steering that way, you have no control of the car, unfortunately, and somebody else got wrapped up in it. This time it was Scott Matthews, unfortunately, but you know that's how it's happened. But how about this? Xavier, who was the innocent victim in a previous wreck, got his car repaired, and now he's taking over the lead of the race as everybody else is coming to the pit.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of pace he has though. I'm not sure if they were able to do all the repairs or not. I think they might have actually had a quick repair in this race. So he might, as you mentioned, might have all those repairs done. But up 13 spots, started at the almost the tail end of the field. So we'll see if he's able to get together with his teammate here, Joseph Smith, who's going to be starting only a couple spots in behind him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting on this restart. He'll have about 12 lap older tires, and if we saw anything from Travis Everett earlier, new tires, he might be a sitting duck on this restart.
As we hop on board here with Joseph Smith, we've got Jamal Stevens in chat saying, "Go Mojo." I had to ask him who that was. Joseph Smith, otherwise known as Mojo. So he's got the cheering squad in the chat for him. We'll see, as we mentioned, if he and his teammate Xavier Regelbrug, are able to work together and get the Chesapeake Racing machines up ahead of Jordan Fisher, who's been pretty much the mainstay up front here this entire, what are we at, 40, I can't remember what lap we're at here, 35, 36 laps anyways in. We'll see if Jordan Fisher finally has somebody vying for top spot.
Yeah, I think we're at lap 37, coming to lap 38 for the green. But I'm going to show my Texan roots here because when I hear Mojo and we're in North and West Texas, I think of the Odessa Panthers, the football team, and they're called the Mojo. So that's what made me think of when I heard that in the chat. But anyway, squirrel moment there for the Texans that are watching this back. But yeah, pace car lights are off, so we're going to go green here with about, I'm going to do terrible math here, 62 to go.
Yeah, we're creeping up on the halfway point. Hopefully we get a few more caution-free laps here as we're going back to double wide again, or double file. Start this one off, see if it goes a little better. Joseph Smith trying to get a jump on his teammate there, Xavier Regelbrug, up ahead, but it looks like the two teammates able to lock Jordan Fisher out to the outside. Now we'll see if they can work together and pull ahead of him.
Looks like Jonathan Pereira had an issue on the restart. He's cutting his way through the infield grass, but we'll go back and take a look at that as they fan 2-3 wide out in the mid-pack there.
Yeah, 2 wide in the, 3 wide. If I have a look back there a little farther, looks like Chris Topping's trying to force his way in between Ronald Braylon and Michael Pete, able to do it. Now he's battling with Brad Harris. Harris going to go to the bottom, Topping's going to go to the top, and Ronald Braylon thinks about making it 3 wide, coming out of turn 2. Onto the back stretch they go.
This was the action that we were hoping to see with the multi-groove racing that Texas has at times, and these guys are finding it.
Top back up front. Xavier Regelbrug going to take top spot across the lap 40 mark. Able to hold off Jordan Fisher. Jordan Fisher still trying to separate these two teammates. Joseph Smith on the bottom side, keeping Fisher up top, trying to utilize that draft off his teammate. Oh, what a move by Jordan Fisher. Nice through them to get himself to the bottom. What a move. There's it.
Yeah, he had Slingshot engaged there from Talladega Nights. I tell you what.
He shaked, he baked, and he's back up front again. Jordan Fisher will lead them across for lap 41. Now, let's see if the teammates, Regelbrug and Smith, can capitalize on that, work together, or if they're going to choose to battle here. So they're going to go 2 wide through turn 2.
Yeah, they're still side by side here. If I'm Xavier, I might just kind of concede the spot to my teammate with fresher tires and play rear gunner for a little bit. But looks like they'll swap positions for the time being. And now Xavier will train his eyes to Travis Everett closing up behind.
Yeah, Everett we saw was a rocket ship last green flag stint. Ooh, Regelbrug really drifting up wide there with those older tires and tried to hold the bottom, wasn't able to do it. Everett had to kind of back out of the throttle for a millisecond or so, didn't want to get into him. But I was saying that Everett was real rocket on the fresh tires last time by, and that's equalized out a little bit for him, but it looks like he still has some decent pace here to contend with the top drivers.
Yeah, now that Travis is on the same strategy as the two cars in front of him, so we'll see if he can go run down Joseph and Jordan from the P3 position. But looks like Kyle Ethier here is going to get a run on the 12 of Chris Toppings out of 2 there, and now train is focused to Brad Harris down the road.
Yeah, it's a sharp paint job Ethier has in his car there.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, that's when NASCAR liveries had personality. I won't go on my soapbox about the current state of liveries in NASCAR, but let's just say I'm a fan of the early 2000s liveries.
I might have to give him the award for the best paint of the evening, but up front, Jordan Fisher still leading the way. Joseph Smith holding on to his bumper in behind, not too far back. Travis Everett peeking ever so closer to Smith and behind. Looks like Xavier Regelbrug, unfortunately falling back a little bit. Those used tires not faring well for him. Jack Humbert lurking in behind. Could see a move here from him on Regelbrug in a matter of a lap or two.
Yeah, I think Xavier's just maybe overdriving a little bit on that line he's taken into 1 and 2, and he's trying to hang with the front pack and maybe needs to adjust the strategy to conserve and maybe hold on and get the cycles to reset if we have another caution or if we have green flag pit stops. But back on board with the best paint job winner. Kyle Ethier has closed that gap immensely to the number 9 in front of him.
Oof, they're a little loose coming off of turn 2 there. You saw the front end wiggle. You hear him back out of the throttle a little bit, so it's going to give Brad Harris a little bit of breathing room. Brad Harris, another driver we've seen come over from WRL last season. Brad wasn't able to really start the mid portion of the season last season, but the last few races that he came in was very strong towards the end, so no surprise we see him up in 6th place just behind Jack Humbert, another one of our WRL drivers from last season. So Kyle Ethier trying to chase back in. Brad Harris got Michael Peden in behind him. Peden, one of the drivers we saw earlier in the yellow flag. I think he might have been our first caution of the race, if I remember correctly. He's in, but he got himself up into 8th place.
Yeah, he's had a very good recovery, been able to get in, get the backup car out off the trailer, and make his way up the field as others have had issues. So good to see the recovery from the 24 car, and we'll see if he can catch up to Kyle Ethier and start challenging those guys.
Maybe if he was driving a Coke livery, he might be a little quicker. As a Coke aficionado myself, I can't support Pepsi drivers, but we got. We're
supposed to be impartial in the booth.
We got some questions in chat. We've got Travis Miller. Is that the famous singer Jordan Fisher? So asking the same question you asked earlier, Zin.
I'm not alone.
Travis Miller in chat, and then Blake Nance. Whoa! More 3 laps behind. Yeah. Dalton Moore got wrapped up in the caution, I believe, before the last one, Blake. And that more or less was the end of his day. But he's still out there running a lap down just behind Chris Toppings, who's just in the top 10. Trying to chase back down Ronald Braylon. Up and down day for Toppings. Up and down day for Braylon too as well. We've seen him as up as high as 3rd place. He's fallen back to 9th right now, but still up 1 spot for the day. But the story of the day, as it's been, Jordan Fisher is able to survive the challenge from Joseph Smith and Xavier Regelbrug, himself back up top, and now just kind of holding steady, about half a second ahead of Joseph Smith.
Yeah, it looks like we've had Scott Matthews come into the pits. I'm not sure if he's had an issue or strategy call there, but he's kind of moving slowly there on pit lane. But yeah, Jordan Fisher with that power move on the restart has taken back hold of the race lead and does not look like he wants to relinquish it anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks like Jonathan Pereira might have had an incident that didn't cause a caution, but I see him in pits. Let's see what happened to him here. Running solo. Oh, heavy up into the wall, hit there. Definitely going to damage the right side of that car, but he's able to keep it going. It's about fourth or fifth car now is in that we've seen go through the grass on the front straight, and they hold on to it. Maybe iRacing needs to take this Texas grass here and bring it to the road courses.
Yeah, just make sure that the road racers can't cool their tires in it, and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, for those guys that are smacking the right side wall, they need to try the Jimmy Broadbent strat and smack the left side on the backstretch to even it out and fix all the issues.
Yeah, so we were watching Ethier and Harris earlier. Here's moments ago where Kyle Ethier was able to get around Brad Harris. Going to do it on the bottom. Brad going to tuck in behind him, so that's going to move Ethier up into 6th place. We'll see if Harris is able to tuck in behind him and go along for the ride with him.
Yeah, Ethier with that just driving it down into turn 1, just made it stick. Was able to cover him off on the exit of turn 2 there and is just pulled away.
So Jack Humbert, so he's kind of stalled out. We saw him reeling in Regelbrug earlier, but he's kind of stalled out here a little bit, stagnant about 5-6 tenths back. Remind me, Zin, did they update the, I know this was an issue in seasons past with the Next Gen car where you got to about this point and you really didn't get any more draft to really make a move on the car. The draft, I guess, physics were kind of broke on it. Is that still a thing, or did they finally fix that on the Next Gen cars?
I think it's been more or less fixed. I know they spend a lot of updates consistently, or consecutively, I should say, updating the draft parameters on the next gen cars. So I think it's been more or less fixed at these scale tracks. You know, at super speedways, you still can't really do much if it's one-on-one, but that mimics how the car is in real life if you've watched any super speedway racing. So I believe that problem has been fixed now.
Well, it's good to hear. Maybe when I finally get my A license back in oval, I can do some more racing. As I mentioned, not a very proficient oval racer. Lost that due to I'm going to do what everybody else does, claim other people's mistakes, and costing me my safety. But a guy who probably has no issue with safety rating, 4.74 rating for Joseph Fisher on the safety side, 3.2K I rating. Has been the class of the show so far out front. Joseph Smith in behind him as they make a move around Chris Toppings, the league admin, to put him a lap down. Chris now the first car lap down in 10th place. So Joseph Smith holding steady with 7 tenths back of Jordan Fisher, losing maybe half a tenth each lap time by. As I took a look, Jordan Fisher 30.24 last time by to 30.32 for Joseph Smith, excuse me.
Did the classic, was in jeopardy of being demoted at the start of the season on my A license in oval, and did the perfect week 13 activity of a truck race at Bristol, and somehow survived and almost gained a full safety point. So I got myself out of relegation zone by doing the impossible. So that'll probably be the last oval race I do this season.
It's only impossible until it's possible, which Kyle Ethier trying to show us it's possible to move around Jack Humbert as he's going to go to the inside there on Humbert. Humbert going to try and run the outside, get a better run down the back straight. We'll see if Ethier's just setting him up here to make a move into turn 4, or if he's going to try and stay tucked in a little bit longer.
Yeah, this is about the time where you'll start to see the top line and the bottom line even out, where you know you'll give up some time entering the corner, but you'll be able to have a much better drive out of the corner on the high side, as we saw there through 1 and 2. But this time around, Jack decided he wants to go on the bottom line, and Kyle's all the willing to stay there and take some more draft.
Yeah, I wonder if Humbert got any damage there. We saw him kind of scrape the wall pretty good coming out of, I think it was turn 4. A little bit of damage on the right side, but it doesn't look like it seems to really be affecting him all that much. They've got, they're actually catching up to Regelbrug up ahead. As it looked like Humbert was kind of stagnant in behind, but now that Ethier's caught up, I wonder if he's found a little bit of extra pace. Maybe he's just trying to save his equipment there. As I mentioned last season, Humbert was very strong at saving his tires through a run, meanwhile still putting down quick laps. So potentially he was saving a little bit of rubber for a potential green flag, a long green flag run, which we've had so far. This is actually, I think, our longest green flag run of the race at this point.
I think you're right. Yeah, we're down under 40 to go, and yeah, I definitely think, given how Jack raced last season very effectively, that he could have very well have been just waiting until Kyle got closer to have that pressure to be like, okay, I got to go. But until you get here, I'll just keep saving these tires.
On board here with Ronald Braylon as he's battling Michael Peden. We got lap car Scott Matthews in behind. He's got fresher tires, no doubt. He's going to make the move around them. He's going to allow Peden and Braylon to battle it out. Looks like Braylon was able to capitalize while Matthews was working his way through, able to open up a little bit of gap over Peden, so we'll see if he's able to leap that back in. But still up a little head, farther ahead, Kyle Ethier and Jack Humbert still battling it out. Brad Harris lurking in behind Xavier Regelbrug. Love seeing them battling behind him because that means they're not trying to move their way around him to take over fourth place.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Xavier's loving what he's seeing. He's on by far the oldest tires of this lead pack, and any chance that he can pull away while Jack and Kyle battle behind him, he's going to take that advantage and run with it.
Yeah, Regelbrug pit on lap 13. Everybody else, for the most part, pit on lap 35 or later, so he has substantially older tires right now for Xavier Regelbrug. Still putting in quick lap times. 30.30 last time by was actually I'm having a look here. He had the quickest lap on track last time by with those old tires.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as well, and I'm also seeing that Kyle Ethier finally got the pass on and Jack Humbert.
Yeah, this looks like Humbert's ready to give it up, though, trying to fight back on the inside. See, he was able
around
to
the outside. That was a very strong move there.
Looks like Humbert preferring to run the bottom line where Ethier's starting up top, knifing it down to the bottom, letting the car kind of breathe back out to the outside. We see it really worked well for him off turn 4, able to get a nice advantage over Humbert there.
Yeah, and we're seeing now that Kyle's gotten around him, he's starting to pull a little bit of gap there. Jack about a half second back now from Kyle in front. So we may see Jack just kind of settle into his P6 position there and work again on saving tires.
So we'll see if Ethier now can pull Humbert and Harris up to Regelbrug, as Ethier driver 2 as well, pit on lap 35. So we'll see, he's definitely had the pace. 30.39 last time by was the quickest lap that time by for Ethier, so he's got the pace. Regelbrug 30.44, still putting in quick laps on those old tires. So hats off to Xavier Regelbrug. Jordan Fisher, though, that gap's starting to come down a little bit up front. Joseph Smith eat into his gap a little bit. Last time he checked in, it was about 7/8 tenths, down now to just over 6 tenths. So Joseph Smith, potentially another driver who was maybe backed off his tires a little bit, trying to save a little bit of rubber. Now, did Jordan Fisher do the same thing? And he was just trying to lull Smith into a false sense of security here.
Yeah, it could also be that Joseph just had a better time of getting around the lap down car there of Ronald Braylon as well. But either way, the gap's down to about 0.7 of a second between Jordan and Joseph, and we'll see if that gap can continue coming down.
So we're back on board here with Brad Harris. I mentioned that potentially Ethier could tow Humbert and Harris up towards Regelbrug up ahead, but it looks like Humbert really starting to struggle here once Kyle Ethier was able to get by. We haven't quite seen the pace out of Humbert that we're accustomed to, but Brad Harris in behind him trying to capitalize on that position, take away P6 from Jack Humbert.
Yeah, down under it's about 1.5 tenths now between Brad Harris and Jack Humbert as they enter turn 1 there. So Brad definitely closing in on that bottom line. We'll see if he gets the run off of 2 and potentially looks to make a move out of 4 down through the tri-oval.
Yeah, it looks like Humbert tried to hold a little more into the second lane there. where Harris was able to really hold the bottom line and accelerate out towards the wall. Really closing it now, only about a car length between them. I think it's only a matter of time here before Brad Harris makes this position his.
Yeah, Brad's going to get tight there in the middle of 1 and 2, so he's not going to get a good run on Jack in front of him as we see that gap stretched ever so slightly entering turn 3 here. But I expect that Brad's going to be able to get this done probably in the next couple laps here.
We're under 30 laps to go in this one as we've got a nice little green flag stint going here. Harris still unable to get around Humbert, trying to fight the best he can. Looks like Humbert going to give up the ghost here though on the top side. Got a little loose, had to back out of it. That's going to allow Harris to get that position, but Humbert not ready to let it go, fighting back on the outside, but I suspect into turn 3 here. As they come out of turn 4, Harris should have this one locked up, and Humbert pretty much just have to try and watch him walk away and stay in the draft.
Yeah, Brad Harris has got that gold Napa Chevrolet shining bright under the lights here at Texas, and he's driving to back up the shininess of that paint. So just like Kyle was able to do, expect to see Brad just start pulling away from Jack.
Up ahead of them, Regelbrug now. He's got lap car of Chris Toppings in between he and Kyle Ethier. Ethier now only 7/10 back of Regelbrug. Regelbrug, no doubt, would love to see a yellow come out here now. Our driver on the oldest tires. I suspect the entire field will come in and get some fresh rubber. And with him being in 4th place, we just didn't see what he could do with some fresh tires, as he's been able to hold on to 4th place on those old tires and still put in fairly comparable laps as our leaders.
Yeah, Ronald Braylon looks like he pit on lap 64 and has run down and passed both Joseph Smith and Jordan Fisher to get back on the lead lap there.
He has, you're right. I didn't even notice that. He's just ahead of our leader now, Jordan Fisher. There's Ronald Braylon just ahead of him. So interesting stuff. Those new tires definitely working well for Ronald Braylon. So you said he pit on 64, so it's what, about 30 laps, just under 30 laps difference of tires, be able to pick up a whole lap. So it's quite a substantial gain from those new tires.
Yeah, and as we get down to 25 laps to go, have to start wondering if these leaders are going to be content to go to the end of the race, if they've got enough fuel on these tires, or potentially look at coming down for a set of 4 new tires with that pace difference that we're seeing Ronald put on display, if it may be worthwhile of a gamble there.
We're seeing Brad Harris with some pace out of, I don't know where he found that pace all of a sudden is in, but he's caught up to Kyle Ethier after moving around Jack Humbert. Ethier was a good, I'm going to say 6-7 ahead of them. And he's really closing in on Ethier now as he's been unable to move around the lap car of Chris Toppings just up ahead. So I wonder maybe if,
since getting around Jack is like he's been fired out of a cannon.
Not sure if Ethier, what happened here. Look, he really off pace there for a little bit, picked the pace back up. So I'm sure maybe he just had a little bit of equipment issue there for a lap or two, but looks like he's back up to pace. So really interesting stuff. He was about 4/10 back of Regelbrug. Now he's fallen to a second, and then again falling off pace again here heading into turn 2.
Yeah, he was down almost to half a second behind Xavier Regelbrug, and as you said, has fallen back and is now well within the grasp of Brad Harris in the Napa Chevrolet.
Oh, it's like Scott Matthews having an issue there. Oh, up into the wall. No yellow yet, but the leader's coming around here. Let's see if he's able to get it to
that
the
car's
bottom.
wounded too. He's got to get that on the apron.
And he's going to get it down. Looks like we're going to keep going green. So well done by everybody getting around, and we'll take a quick look here at what exactly happened to Scott.
Yeah, and well done to Scott to get that down on the apron without any issue or bringing out the caution.
Oof. To go back on board with our leader, Jordan Fisher, seen him getting squirrely out of turn 2. That's allowed Joseph Smith to close that gap. We got a battle now for the leads in.
Yeah, definitely. Got the old Texas slide coming out of turn 2 there, and Joseph Smith is licking his chops with the amount of gap that he just closed there.
Yeah, we'll see what Joseph Smith has to offer. 20 laps to go. Both have the same age of tires. It's been a matter of, or going to be a matter of, who was able to save a little bit of rubber here for a last or late race charge. I suspect they should have enough fuel here to get them to the end, so that shouldn't be an issue. It's going to be a matter of whether a caution comes out. But Travis Everett, too, as well. Starting to close in. He's only 4/10 back for that battle, too, as well.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to if either one of these drivers make a mistake. Looking at their fastest laps, they're only 300 apart throughout the whole race. But as we see, our 5th caution of the night has come out for reasons unknown as of yet.
I believe potentially for Blair Saunders. I see him off in the pits there now, but let's take a look and see what happened to him. It's down on the apron, lose it up into the wall, and that's going to put us under caution again. So we're going to have a little bit of a sprint here to the ends. And
yeah, I can tell you right now, everybody that is on the lead lap is going to be coming down to get brand new tires, and we're going to have a shootout to the end. But yeah, it looked like Blair Saunders was trying to get to the apron and get it slowed down to come to the pits, and the car decided to be uncooperative.
yeah, apron doing apron things. But so I mentioned it not too long ago where Xavier Regelbrug, I suspect, was probably a driver that was hoping for some kind of yellow here. He was on the oldest tires, was doing everything he could to try and stay up front with the leaders. He's going to be able to get some new rubber. What do you think we might see out of him here, as in with some fresh rubber?
I think it's going to be exciting. You know, he was fast early on before being an innocent victim in one of our early cautions. And, you know, once we got a long green flag run, seemed like he really had pace. But I'll be curious to see for any of these guys pitting if they might experiment with just taking 2 right sides versus all 4 and use that to jump a few spots, especially if you're maybe a Kyle Ethier or a Brad Harris down in 5th or 6th. But I don't know how much that affects the next gen car as much if you have worn left sides and fresh right sides, but maybe something to experiment with in a preseason race.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Our leader, Jordan Fisher, actually overshot his spot, had to back up and pull back a couple times. So that's going to cost him a ton of time. So interesting to see here. See if Smith is going to get out ahead. Everett going to get ahead. Looks like Travis Everett was our big winner off that. He's going to come out up front. Kyle Ethier going to come out in 2nd place. Joseph Smith and Xavier Regelbrug going to come in or come out nose to tail here. But Travis Everett goes from 3rd up into 1st. Our leader, Jordan Fisher, terrible pit stop for him. He's going to fall all the way back down to 7th place.
Yeah, that was disastrous for Jordan. Not sure it could have gone much worse other than maybe getting a speeding penalty, but we'll see how his we saw him with that really aggressive move on the previous restarts. You know, we'll see if he's got some tricks up his sleeve to make up those positions that he just lost in the pit cycle.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of time to do it. So we still have, we still have a fair bit of time left. I believe it should be about 12 laps or so once we go back green. So enough time for him to try and make a move up top. But the only problem for him now is everybody is on the same age of tires. So it's going to be a little more cumbersome trying to make his way through. We know he has the pace because the lights go out on the pace car. So we'll be going green next time by. But we'll see if he has maybe a drafting partner, somebody to work with us. Those 2 teammates, those 2 Chesapeake Racing machines, will be up towards the front and they'll be trying to work together.
Yeah, and we see Jack Humbert is up there in the mix too. We know what he can do on these races from the WRL season that just concluded. So a lot of good guys with a lot of good skills, all vying for the same position. So if you don't have your popcorn, I suggest you go get some in the next 2 turns because we're about to go green for a looks like 14 lap shootout.
And looking here, I thought Joseph Smith came out a little farther up in the field, but I see him back into 7th place. I'm not sure if he got a penalty of some sorts, but he's going to start a little farther back.
Yeah,
So Xavier Regelbrug looks like he's on his own up front.
yeah, I don't see anything saying that he got an EOL or anything like that, but he was very slow coming out of the pits for reasons that we're not sure about. But I struggle to think that it would be a strategic reason. But we'll see how it all shakes out as they come off of 4, ready to get the green flag from Barney.
Yeah, Barney at the ready to go. And here we go. Green again. So far, so good. Everybody getting away.
Kyle Ether just firing off there in the restart zone. Got a big jump.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see him too as well on fresh tires, how he was able to do. He was fairly quick towards the end of that stint, kind of faded a little bit, but another driver keep an eye on Brad Harris. He was making up a ton of pace on Ether at the end. He's got himself in 4th place right now, and Jordan Fisher to his bottom side. So Fisher already back up 3 spots after coming out of the pits in 7th place. So he's got that restart prowess under wraps there's in. Now only 2 more cars to take advantage of here to get himself back up top. We'll see if Xavier Regelberg with the fresh tires able to hold him off, and Kyle Ether up top.
Yeah, Jack Humbert was the big loser there. They were 3, almost 4 wide coming off of turn 2, and he scraped the wall and fell back several spots. So, but yeah, you got a lot of guys that work really well on fresh tires that are moving up the field and fighting for the point very shortly, with Jordan Fisher and Travis Everett being the top 2.
So we are at 13 laps to go. Ether leads the way. Rest of the field fairly single file, I'm going to say, for the most part. Back a little farther, maybe a little double file, but all the way back to Ronald Braylon. All of our lead lap cars self in single file, trying to utilize the draft as much as they can. They don't really want a chance going too wide here as in to lose the draft off the car ahead. Because once you get out of draft with these cars, it's no bueno. You're not making that back up.
Yeah, and Joseph Smith has moved up several spots, so much to the delight, I'm sure, of Xavier Regelbroek, who's looking to the inside to take the lead away from Kyle Ethier into turn 3.
Yeah, Ethier trying to fight back out of 4, but so he's going to be able to hold on to that position, but Regelbroek's going to have the preferred bottom line into turn 1, it seems, where most of the drivers preferring the bottom out of turn 1 and 2, and then let's see, about lane 2, maybe all the way up into lane 3 out of 3 and 4 is in.
Yeah, but Kyle Ethier is making it stick really well on the outside, even in 1 and 2 there. So these guys running side by side is going to allow Jordan Fisher and Joseph Smith to close up with them, though. And this 2-car battle is soon to be a 4-car battle.
Yeah, we saw Joseph Smith kind of tagging the wall, heading out of turn 2 and then back straight. But it didn't look like it hampered him too much. On board with Jordan Fisher trying to make the move underneath. Kyle Ethier up top as Xavier Regelbroek going to make it official now, get himself out front. There's a little wiggle though coming off turn 2 as they head down the back stretch. Ethier trying to look to the bottom side.
Yeah, he's going to run Kyle down to the bottom, and Jordan Fisher's going to say, "Thank you very much. I'll take that clean line on the high side going into 3 and 4.
Yeah, Fisher has not much to do other than just watch and try and force a mistake here from either driver up ahead. It looks like he's a little bit undecided which driver to follow here is in, as they keep it's like a game of catch back and forth. Oh no,
massive.
Ethier into the wall. He's gonna get back up. It's like everybody gonna get around him, but that's going to stamp a sour taste in Kyle Ethier's mouth for this race here. He's
That is such a
gathered back up.
bummer conclusion to what was a very fast race car there, and in the hands of Kyle Ethier. But that left front is very unhappy, so he's going to have to take a trip down pit road and get that fixed.
Yeah, let's take a look here at what happened to Ethier. I don't think he had any help. It was just a solo spin, but we'll see here. Oh, he just got loose to the back end wiggle, and unfortunately, that's all it took for him.
I'm telling you, that exit at turn 2, it's going to bite you.
Let's see if we can get a maybe an overhead shot here to see how drastic that wiggle was for. Oh, he was loose well off of turn 2.
Yeah, he had it caught for a split second, and then the second half of the slide came in and finished the job off.
So he's been in and out. So he's got that car repaired. So he had his fast repair left. Or no, he didn't. Still damaged. There's no fast repair, I guess.
I don't think he's been in yet, so we'll probably see him come down to pit road now. No, I think pit road just opened as they came back around.
So we've got a couple takers. Travis Everett going to come in and pit out of 4th place. Ronald Breland going to take that position away from him.
Yeah, it looks like Travis Everett on down to 10th place all came into pit, which for those guys, it makes sense if you got tires left. Even a couple lap difference, as we saw earlier in the race, seems to make a difference. So as we see the 12 of Chris Topping slide through his box there, have to back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a correction needed there for Chris Topping. We see Dalton Moore, not the race he envisioned, but sticking it out so far in 14th place. So top 4 cars, no tires here. So I don't suspect it'll be that big of an advantage. We only went, maybe 5 laps, I think, under greens in?
Yeah, something like that. And as we come back to the green, we're going to have the Chesapeake Racing teammates linked up again with Xavier and Joseph 1 and 3. But Ford's top 3, and then you got Ronald Breland, who is charged back up the field and is currently sitting P4 in the top Toyota.
Now we saw the start that Jordan Fisher was able to get last caution. He's starting in 2nd. Older tires, albeit, but only a few laps on them. Looks like we're going to be starting... Oh, we still got one more lap under the caution here. So it looks like we're going to be starting single file, but we'll find out here as they cross the line whether we're going to go double file or single file. As we Fisher moving up to the outside of Regelbrook. So we're going to start double file. When we know the bottom into turn 1 and 2 seems to be the preferred line. Fisher going to be up top. Do you think he's going to be able to get ahead of Regelbrook and Fisher, the teammates on the bottom?
I think when you're on a restart, you can fire it in on the middle lane or the high lane and get it to stick and get a real good run on the down the backstretch. So I would look for Jordan to do that and hopefully try and pull level or even ahead a little bit going into 3 and 4 where you can leverage that high line and finish the job off. So as we've seen, Jordan is a very good restarter, but he's going to have 2 teammates working against him on the bottom side. So we'll see who comes out on top there. And then you got the wild cards in the mix with Travis Everett in 5th, leading the pack of new tire takers. They're going to be on 10-lap newer tires with 4 to go when we take the green here.
So it all comes down to this.
We missed the green-white checker by 1 lap.
The last dash, I don't even know if there's a green-white checker in this lobby. Chris didn't put a whole lot of information in for the preseason race, so we'll have to just wait and see if that comes to that. But heading to the line now, Regelbrook going to lead them around, Fisher to the outside, Smith and Breland behind. They get stacked up. Regelbrook going to get the jump. Fisher gets a decent jump, though. He's going to cut down and split those 2 teammates up. So here we go. Chesapeake Racing versus the Hardee's design team here now. It's a matter of who's going to come out top. Regelbrook getting a nice gap over Fisher. Fisher starting to close back in there now down the back straight. They're going to come to the line with 4 to go here, Zin.
Yeah, Travis Everett on those 10-lap newer tires just drove right by Ronald Breland in the Toyota. So we're going to have 4 to go here. Jordan Fisher, who's looked strong all night, is closing in very quickly on that Ford of Xavier Regelbrook in 1st.
Yeah, we're on board here with Everett, as you mentioned, quickly disposed of Breland, who's fallen back. Oh, Joseph Smith again going to tag the wall. Saw him do it a couple laps ago under green. He literally has a whole lot of damage on that right side, but trying to move the wall a little bit isn't going to work to your advantage very often.
They're just trying to shorten the car up to give them more room to track out on these corner exits.
Regelbrook going to lead the way. 3 laps to go. On to the back stretch they go. Jordan Fisher kind of lurking in behind, but hasn't really been able to close that gap here. I think this might be Regelbrug's race to lose at this point in time, Zin.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Jordan close up as quickly as he needs here with 2 to go. But as we've seen, turn 2 is waiting at any moment to get these guys loose exiting it. So if they can tame turn 2, I think they'll be in good shape.
Travis Everett trying to utilize those fresh tires, but just doesn't have enough laps to really take advantage. He was able to get around a couple cars, but stalled out in behind Joseph Smith. But Brad Harris putting some pressure on the back of Everett too as well. Kyle Ethier right there. So they're going to have a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But the story up front, Regelbrug able to get ahead of Fisher after that slow pit stop for Fisher having to navigate himself back and forth in his stall a little bit. We're on the last lap here, heading down the back stretch. Regelbrug going to lead them around into turn 3 and 4. Looks like it's pretty much over here, Zin, as far as Regelbrug's concerned. Jordan Fisher going to bring it home second, but that battle shaped up for 3rd place. Everett looking to the outside as they run to the line. Smith's going to hold on to that spot. Everett's going to have to settle for 4th place.
Man, that was an exciting finish. Those guys were definitely using up every inch of this track that they could.
Yeah, Everett needed a couple more laps, I think, on those fresher tires to seal off Joseph Smith, but 4th place finish, I'll take that.
Yeah, and how about Xavier Regelbrug getting caught up as an innocent bystander in an earlier wreck, comes back and wins the whole thing. So was a masterclass in tire management on those old tires for the long green flag run. Got lucky with the I say got lucky, but took advantage of the late caution, took fresh tires, and held on.
Yeah, hats off to him again. If you're watching this out there at home, you want to get into some Next Gen racing, they are recruiting. There's a link in the Discord, the Discord link is in the description of the video, so you can hop in there and join the league, and they'll gladly have you. Next first race of the season is actually next week, and we got 10 weeks on order over the next 12 weeks. Actually pop up quickly the schedule here. Again, there you go. A quick look at the schedule. September 24th is going to be the first race at Daytona. You can see the rest of the tracks on order there for the season. So that'll wrap up the race here. So congrats to all our drivers. Congrats to Xavier Regelbrug. And I think not much more we could have asked from that one. As in, we had a couple battles heading down to the line here at, almost forgot where we were, Texas. So it was all in all a good race. A little bit of cautions towards the front. Nice green flag stint through the middle of the race. We saw a lot of strategy come on the table, where some drivers saving some tires, able to move up, where some drivers that really utilized or used up their tires a little early on in the stint, starting to fall back. So look forward to seeing what's in store over the next few weeks as Tobacco Road Sim Racing establishes itself in the Next Gen Cup side of things.
Yeah, Texas showed itself to be a good venue again. Had a lot of multi-line racing throughout the whole pack, battles up and down the order. So it was definitely a battle between each other and a battle with the tire management. So good to see from these guys. Overall, very good race, and sets up the season to be very exciting.
It certainly does. And one more shout out to the two of us. If you want to follow any of our shenanigans, there's our tags there too as well. And we'll catch you next week for some official racing here in the Tobacco Road Sim Racing League. Till then, bye for now.
Good night.